Report came out right before the long holiday weekend from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that the Arizona Cardinals could be in play for free agent defensive end Everson Griffen. Now, we said in here a bunch that I think it's still highly likely that the Vikings and Everson run it back, despite the legally binding Instagram goodbyes. I think that would make a lot of sense for both parties to run back one more year, get things done, and see what happens, right? But the Arizona option is interesting, where the interest in Everson this free agent cycle has been pretty tepid. Like some Seattle, Pete Carroll, USC reunion with Everson. But, I mean, the Arizona one does make a lot of sense for a couple reasons. Number one, Everson's from Arizona, right? He's the pride of Agua Fria High School in Avondale, which is a suburb of Phoenix. So the homecoming would certainly be appealing. Makes sense there. Take me home, Mountain Mama, Arizona, take me home. There you go. Number two, Arizona really only has one pass rusher. And yes, he's one of the best pass rushers in the league. Chandler Jones is a bad-ass mofo. All right? The entire Jones family, like Arthur, Johnny, and Chandler, all three badasses in their own right. Great. Everson would have ample opportunity opposite of Chandler Jones, get some one-on-ones, and he would be good to go there, right? So that makes sense. Plus, I mean, Everson, like we said, still has a little bit of game left to him, and there's still some tread on those tires, right? 13th in NFL last year in regular season pressures was 66, as well as had 8 sacks. Plus, he had 4 pressures and a sack and a half in the Saints wild card win. So, 97 can still bring the stinky Limburger. So that's the entire sales pitch, right? So Arizona, it's home, opportunity. I can still rush a passer. There you go. Plus, as we said, I think Everson severely got hosed by the Rona this offseason. So everywhere shut down, travel not so much. So teams during free agency would have really loved to bring Everson in, do a face-to-face, do an extensive physical, have a bit of an interview process because, not only, because of the mental health situation that he faced in 2018 and overcame, but also because he's a 32-year-old edge rusher. So, the team doctors would obviously love to check him out before, they threw some significant money at 97. So I don't think that he was ever going to get big money just because of those extenuating circumstances, as well as now, I mean, teams, they got their cap spent for the most part, as well as, the draft class is already in the barn. So a lot of roster spots have already taken up. So also, with Arizona specifically, you look at they primarily run a 3-4 base front, right? Even though sub package is the new base, whatever. So is Everson in base going to be stand up outside linebacker? Is it going to be a 5-tech defensive end? I think you do great at both, but it would be a switch. It would be a departure. Of course, could he be a sub package fiend? The rush of 4 down defensive lineman, sub package, perfectly fine. If you wanted to do that, why not stay here in the great state of Minnesota, right? With the locker room that you don't have to move. You keep that Captain C on your chest. It's great, right? Be the late career Brian Robinson when he was basically the catch-all. Hey, need me to rush from the edge, need me to be inside, need me to be linebacker. I'll do all those things, right? Plus Arizona. But Arizona has less cap space than the Vikings. Like, the Vikings aren't cap rich by any stretch of the imagination, but they do have more cap space than the Cardinals. So Arizona right now has $8.97 million versus the $12.27 million in cap space for the Vikings via over the cap. So it's tight. It's tight either way. But if Arizona balks, I still think that the Vikings reunion is in the cards, pardon the pun, for Everson. And even though Fadio Odenigbo, I think, certainly could fill in well as a starter. He's training like he's going to be the starter, which is great. So now that could be part inside knowledge. That could just be part of the next man up mentality, or him being ready so he doesn't have to get ready, right? We love that about 95. Always going to be working, right? So even if 97 does return, I think Afadi would be the de facto starter in terms of snap count. I really think that he would get that work even if Everson was on the roster. But as I've said, I would love Everson back at the right price. Keep that leadership, keep that continuity. Obviously, still has some stanking, bringing off the edge and be the utility catch-all on this defense that it would be really nice to have as they switch over from some of the older veterans to this really young up-and-coming defense that's going to be coming in, right? But I would understand if you picked Arizona, right? I think that makes a lot more sense than Seattle. It's a great opportunity. Going home is always great. It's one of those things that athletes always talk about. So I think it would be wonderful for him. But if that happens, I think the Vikings will be fine too. I mean, so it's a win-win. Whether Everson's back, great. If he leaves, that's fine because I believe in Nafati. I think he's ready to step up as starter. Plus, you have DJ Wanham and James Lynch and Anthony Zettel and Willikis all in the mix. So the Vikings, the cupboard is not bare if Everson leaves. And if he goes to Arizona, I think that's the best spot for him right now outside the Vikings. So we'll see. Well, we'll see what happens. But your thoughts? Everson Cardinals? Question mark. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, pull us on the Venmo. Please give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time. Skol. Is that burp? Production value.